Management is proud to present Daily Vet Life, a short podcast for equine and mixed animal veterinarians and their staffs that is focused on personal and business topics of importance during the COVID-19 pandemic. In this week's episodes, we'll talk about various aspects of being a veterinarian during the COVID-19 pandemic with Amy Grice, VMD, MBA. Dr. Grice practiced for more than 20 years, and she has strong business credentials. She consults with and advises veterinarians and practice owners on a wide variety of projects and challenges through her veterinary business consulting company. Today's episode is going to talk about life changes start small. Daily Vet Life is brought to you by Covetrus, a global animal health company dedicated to empowering veterinary practices. We combine products, services, and technology into a single platform that connects our customers to the solutions and insights they need to grow. Welcome, Dr. Grice.
Hi, Kim. I'm so glad to be back with you again today.
Well, for our listeners, we want to let you know we've been talking to Dr. Grice all this week about various topics. We've talked about dealing with stress and some business tips for solo practitioners. And yesterday we talked about personal financial wellness, which was really good. Make sure you go back and listen to that one. And today we're talking about life changes start small. So we all know change is scary. So do we have to make all these changes all at once?
No, we definitely do not, Kim. You know, life changes don't have to be huge and they don't have to happen quickly. Right now, with this pandemic and the changes in people's lives simply from perhaps being home more, not seeing their friends, and doing social distancing, people may be thinking a lot about their lives and things they might want to change about their lives. I think many of us are thinking about what's truly important, because life doesn't have to be focused on the acquisition of things or the acquisition of money or working harder and harder. Sometimes it's experiences that are broadening your perspective, or you realize that it's the relationships in your life that are bringing you the most joy and connection, and that they're the greatest value in your life. So I think a lot of people are doing a lot of thinking right now. And many times the most important changes that occur are simply a change of attitude, or perhaps adopting a personal vision for your life. There's a great quote by Henry Thoreau that's one of my favorites, and it is, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined." And just thinking about that is kind of exciting. But first, you need to take the time to imagine what your life could be like in your wildest dreams. And that thinking about that can be scary, because change is scary. And to get your wildest dreams to come true can be scary. So when I was in clinical practice and I'd earned my MBA and I really wanted to start a business consulting practice so that I could bring, almost like an evangelist, bring all the wonderful things that I had learned to other practices, other veterinarians, and instead of helping animals, to help veterinarians. But I was a partner in a big practice, and so my partnership agreement, I had to give notice 6 months in advance, and it was scary to jump out of what I've been doing for over 25 years. And the date was approaching, the 6-month date, and I was afraid. And one of my friends called me the night before I needed to make the announcement, and she said, "Amy, how are you doing?" And I said, "Oh God, I'm like, my toes are up at the edge of the cliff and I'm looking down and I need to jump, and the rocks look really, really sharp." And she said to me, "Amy, look up, spread your wings and fly gracefully away." And oh my goodness, I visualized that. And suddenly I wasn't so scared. So in order to create your vision for your life, both personally and professionally, you need to ask yourself some questions. You need to ask yourself, what brings me the most joy in my life or in my work as a veterinarian? What do I want to be doing in my professional life in like next year or in 5 years or in 10 years? Do I want to be doing exactly what I'm doing right now? Working more, working less? What kind of services do I want to learn something new? And if I own a practice, what do I want that practice to turn into and develop into next year, 5 years, 10 years? But from a personal standpoint, this is probably what I think is the most important question that you can ask yourself. If I died tomorrow, what is the most important thing to me for how I'm going to be remembered? What would I like my epitaph to say? How do I want to be remembered? That's the most important question, I think. And, along with that, thinking about your personal life or your life in general, what's the most important accomplishment that I want to achieve in all the different aspects of my life, in my marriage, in my parenting, my friendships, my hobbies, my spiritual life, my health, my experiences here on the earth. And if I knew I only had 1 year to live, how would I spend that year? What is really important to me? And what are the things that I still want to do here on earth before I die? Don't wait. You can't start to change the course of your life until you know what you want your life to be like, what you want it to look like. And it isn't easy, but asking these questions is the place to start.
Well, that is some wonderful advice. And just like your friend who said to look up, spread your wings and fly, I had a good friend that offered me some advice one time that said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. So
That's right.
On that note, thank you, Dr. Grice. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Daily Vet Life, and thank you to our sponsor, Covetrus. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the Daily Vet Life on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Follow Equimanagement on Facebook or send us an email at kbrown@aimmedia.com. Daily Vet Life is a production of the Equine Podcast Network, an entity of the Equine Network.